Now you're being recorded.
Watch what you say, Dan.
And with that, do good. Right now, there are so many lawsuits, litigation things coming up that literally they're guesstimating your odds of being sued sometime in your real estate career is 1 in 1.8. There's just a ton of litigation. And so what we're trying to do is avoid that litigation. For example, courts look at things like buyers don't know what buyers don't know. But you're real estate professionals, and so even if you don't represent them, to tell them there are these things called home inspections is a protective thing for you and your client. So for your protection, get a home inspection. Even if you're not working with the buyer, if it's an unrepresented buyer, we would like that for your protection, get a home inspection. That's a get out of jail free card to us. Transaction doc receipt. Everybody love that form? Yeah. Transaction doc receipt, the state law basically says that we are to give a copy of anything signed by our client at the time they sign it. Well, that form that they give us to do that, that little thing with the initial marks, that gets pretty beat up by the end of a transaction, right? So all we want is proof that you gave it to them. My suggestion is, hey Lee, it was great working with you. Attached is everything that you signed during the course of this transaction. I know I gave them to you along the way, but here it is all in one convenient location. This is really important stuff. Please confirm you received. Okay, they send something back over saying, oh Lee, that's awesome. Well, now not only have you proven that you've given them everything, they confirmed you gave it to them along the way, right? Because of the wording and things like that. When I'm doing compliance, I actually look at things. Okay, so everything starts with agency. So you have a buyer agency agreement. Guys, when I look at a purchase contract on page 2 and it says that you represent the buyer and this is a confirmation of that previously entered into agreement, and the buyer agency agreement is dated after the REPC, that's kind of a problem, because now you're also confirming that you submitted an offer that contained false information. That's called a false device, and that's even worse, right? So everything needs to be done in order. So when we're doing compliance, we literally look at dates. You entered into the agreement here, it went here. And please review the settlement statements. I'm trying not to exaggerate, but well over half of our settlement statements don't match. They either don't match the agreement, the buyers and sellers statements don't match each other, and it's our job, according to Division of Real Estate, to verify the accuracy of the settlement statement, and if they're not, that's our duties on the line. And when I say our, everything you do, oh wait, Lindsay does. So it's you and Lindsay on the line. So anyway, any questions on any of the forms? Yes, sir?
If you do it DocuSign or .loop, is that considered receipt of the documents?
It depends which courtroom you're in. And literally. Any litigation, and again, right now. Okay, let's just start there. How many are shall guys and how many are may guys?
Shall go.
May, no shall.
Good. Okay, let's try that one more time by show of hands. How many like shall and how many like may? Okay, why may?
Because then they may have the option to do what they want.
Okay.
Exactly that reason. Sometimes it's easier to just go to court and get it done rather than try to go through any kind of mediation or arbitration.
Okay.
Can
I'm
I
a
say
shall
why
guy.
shall? Can I say why?
Please.
Okay, so I used to be a May gal, and then I had a dispute with the other side, and broker Dave looked at it and said, I cannot force these guys to talk to me because you didn't put shall. And so I became a shall gal.
Here's the deal, I mean, I'm also a mediator, I'm drumming up business, nobody in this room was gonna hire me anyway, but I do mediations, and guys, and I will tell you this, mediation is a facilitated conversation, generally speaking, when a transaction breaks down, the first thing that happens is people stop talking to each other. See you in court and talk to my attorney and all that kind of stuff, and it just stops. Mediation basically just starts that conversation up again and see if we can get someplace, okay? I've done mediations, I've used an example before down at Salt Lake Board where I was back getting ready for the mediation and the receptionist of the board called me and said, Dave, can you come up here? And I'm going, well, I'm getting ready for this mediation. I know, they're here, can you come up here? And I'm going, well, I'm not quite ready. No, would you please come up here? And in the background, I hear these two guys, alpha males, and they're going at it. So I go up there and I talk to them like 3-year-olds and I separate them and I go back in. And when I do a mediation, basically I have one person say their side and then I make the other side repeat it. Not say their side, but repeat it. And then I reverse orders and it's kind of a little game we play, okay? At the end of that mediation, folks, not only had we settled the dispute, they were going to have coffee to plan their next project, okay? Something really powerful happens when you start talking. And I personally feel like people should be forced to at least sit down and try to talk it out before they start suing each other. And that's what shall is, okay? So anyway, a shall situation on dispute resolution, but it's the buyer's choice. But it certainly is how you present it. And that's how I present it. And I will tell you, mediation saves a ton of money and a ton of time in court, okay? Any questions on any of this stuff? I'm gonna turn it back over because I know Liza's over here going, God, take the mic away from me. What's that? Affiliated business disclosure. When Boyd and several people got involved with Real Advantage Title, we talked to the attorneys and what kind of disclosures we need to make, and they came back with a packet that was much like you get at the end of a D.R. Horton contract, which is everybody's related to everybody and all this kind of stuff. They literally wanted us to go with 6 pages of talking about title insurance and talking basic rates and what you can get discounts for and all this kind of stuff. And I literally looked at it and I said, we are making our agents go out and sell title insurance. They're not qualified to do it, it's ridiculous. And so I rewrote a disclosure that said that some of us are involved in Real Advantage Title. That's the top part of the affiliated business disclosure. Don't care if you use Real Advantage Title, don't care if you never use it, okay? That is part that is required by federal law that we disclose. The second part of the affiliated business disclosure is your get out of jail free card. If you are the agent that is referring one of anything, one lender, one drywall guy, one electrician, one whatever, if something goes wrong in that transaction, your guy screwed up, okay? And so to keep ourselves out of that situation, A, try to refer more than one of something, but B, you're basically telling these people that because of your professionalism, you have all kinds of contacts in areas that they may have a need. But if they do, that's between you and that service provider. It's not your guy. That's our get out of jail free card. So if a painter goes wrong or if the electrician burns down the house, it's not you. And so, yeah, the affiliate business disclosure is required. Okay. Anything else? Liza's got her hook out. That's all.
And my next hook is going over to Jess with our tech moment.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Okay, so this is our little tech moment today. This is my favorite smart plan. It's called the Neighborhood Nurture. I have myself up on one, and it sends you snapshots of certain neighborhoods all over the world. Because we are obviously an international company, it'll take from everywhere. And I'll show you what it looks like, but it'll give you like a snapshot of what's happening in that neighborhood. So if you have investors that have multiple properties and you wanna set them up on multiple neighborhood nurtures, you can do that as well, so that they're seeing what the market is doing in their investment property place. Okay, so how you'll do that is you'll go to the contact, and you'll go down to add neighborhood, and then you'll do select on a map, and it'll bring up all these like highlighted, kind of grayed out highlighted neighborhoods that you can click on. So you can click on them, you can click on multiple, and you can add them to like this is like the Lehigh area, but you could add them to like a Bountiful area too. It can be all over, and then you'll obviously hit save, and then you'll go over on the right hand side. It'll say timeline opportunities. You'll click smart plans, add to smart plan. This will be the monthly neighborhood nurture. There is a bi-weekly one. I would probably do the monthly. Probably bi-weekly is a little bit too much. Select, and then you'll hit start now, and then you have read the TCPA disclosure. And then confirm, and then this is kind of what it'll look like. So it'll show the map on where they're getting the neighborhood nurture on.
That's what their email looks like.
Yeah, this is what the email will look like when it gets to them. And it will have like your information on it. I just forgot to put that in here. So it'll say like it's coming from Jessica Mills, our logo, everything on there. And it'll say like the average list price 1.7, average price per square foot, all that. And it'll give the active properties on there as well. So yeah, that is our little tech moment today. Yeah.
How do you do it for the second and third and fourth property? Do you have to have a second
Nope.
customer card or something? Or?
Nope, so you'll just add like, so Jordan Mills, you'll add a neighborhood to him if he's like in Bountiful, I don't know, Lehigh, whatever, you can add him to as many neighborhoods as you want to.
That's how you do it.
Yep, and so like I added him to all of these. So he'll get, like in this,
Okay. It's not separated per
no,
property.
it is one sheet, and it'll kind of break it down by neighborhood. So it'll be like the Ivory Ridge, and then it would be like Pepperwood, and then it kind of breaks it up so they know kind of what they're looking at in the area, if that makes sense.
Two
Yeah.
things, so the sort feature is by zip code or by neighborhood, or by geographic map?
Both. Yeah, so like I could type in like in the map like Pepperwood,
Okay,
in Sandy, and it would pull up like the Pepperwood neighborhood. So not necessarily that whole zip code, but you can search it by neighborhood, and you can search it by like, yeah.
can you search by status is my second question.
Search by what?
Status, can you put in solds or just actives?
No, this is like a snapshot.
No, it's just like a snapshot of like what's happening in that market. So it'll show you like what the average list, and then it's within the last 30 days. It'll show all that. So, yeah, Tony, and then we'll leave.
And if there's not a neighborhood,
It won't send you anything.
so then just put in a zip code? Like,
no.
where
There
there's
will-
blanks, whites in the map.
I would do, then you're just gonna wanna do like the surrounding neighborhoods. There should be a box for each neighborhood, like if there's been a home sold, there should be, or I would just choose around it. If not, I can send in a help ticket to KWRI and see why there's not a snapshot for that area.
And it'll have your client's address in there as well, and it'll suggest neighborhoods that are around that as well. So if there's not an actual development, if that's what you're talking about, it'll go ahead and take the surrounding area.
Yeah, and you can type in your, type in like your client's address, it'll have you can search a location or you can search an actual address right there. So yes, Lee,
So Jess, if I had a geographic farm,
yeah,
could I run that once a month and put that information or even that snapshot page in my newsletter?
yeah, we would just send it to, we'd schedule it to send to you first so that you can get that screenshot and take a screenshot of it and then put it in
Sure.
Jess can dive deeper into this after team meeting. She does recommend your database class, so let's hold questions for that and just come to that at 12:30.
Yes, 12:30 to 1:30, every Tuesday, wherever we have team meeting is where I'll be teaching that.
Plug in. Y'all, and as we have Luminary coming up, as Jess said at the beginning, we are an international company. I'm sure you know people that live outside of Utah. You can put them on a neighborhood nurture as well. If you're looking for other touch points to send your clients that you could potentially refer to another agent, this is a great tool for that. I've sent several referrals out solely because they get our neighborhood nurture. With that, Luminary Linda.
Cool, thank you. It's so good to see you guys. We haven't seen you in a while. You guys have been doing lots of different things in such a big room, so thanks for taking some time. We know you guys' time is really valuable, so we're gonna be a little bit quicker today. Just a couple quick points and then share with you some stuff that's going on. So we'll just go.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah. I just wanted to show you, so this is mortgage-backed securities. We're not gonna talk about what's going on in general, except the fact that for the last 3 months, mortgage rates have been very, very stable. And I'm showing you a graph here for the last year, and it goes back even farther. It's been a couple years before we've had like a few months in a row that mortgage rates are remaining stable. And what's really interesting is when mortgage rates remain stable, we have an increase in mortgage applications and a lot of movement. People are thinking about it again. Anytime you have fluctuation up or down, it creates too much movement and people kind of get scared. So this is a great time. If you had clients that you were talking to in the beginning of the year, this is a great time to talk to them again because rates are substantially lower than where they were. So they would definitely be approved for more. And because we're so stable, we can really offer a pre-approval that's gonna be that this is what your loan's gonna look like. I can't tell you how many times I've had in the last couple of years, it was like, oh, you're gonna get a 6.5, and 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, actually it's a 7.2 now, sorry. Right, and that's a big stick in what you guys are doing. You're spending your time, you're doing all these things, and that's not what's happening right now. We've had a lot of stability, and mortgages love that. We go to the next slide. Just some data for you on what's happening on employment. So right now we're having a real contraction in employment. In fact, with the government shutdown, there's not enough data to really know what's going on exactly. But what we can see from the private payrolls is we have a very low amount of new jobs created. 40,000 new jobs last month were created. A healthy market is over 200,000 a month. We've had multiple months in a row, so it's definitely a situation of contraction. Utah has a little bit of these are like national numbers. So we take these national numbers and we try to look at the local market here. Utah is actually not affected as aggressively, meaning our employment world is actually okay. And that's a great advantage for what you're doing, not just for people that are living here right now, but also people that are moving here for job opportunities. So if you're not taking advantage of LinkedIn and other sources of people searching for employment, there's a big move that's happening right now, and Utah's a great place to live. This is a real opportunity for you to outreach and increase your bandwidth and kind of see what else is out there for you. So just some numbers for you so you can understand what's going on. It's not as good as what you're hearing, that the market is great, but it is a situation where in Utah it's a little bit better than other parts of the country. Go one more slide. So touch on the government shutdown. We always do a social media touch, right? So what is everybody talking about? Everybody's talking about how the government is shut down. But what does that really mean for you? Well, mortgages still are functioning, especially in the state of Utah. We don't have a ton of USDA. That's probably the one thing that's affected the most as far as the mortgage side of your world. Everything that has to do with government loans like FHA and VA have been running properly. And now it looks like, I kind of prepared this last night, so now it looks like they're gonna reopen the government, which is great. But how is that gonna affect what you guys are doing? Typically, when you have that type of government shutdown, 40 days is almost like a record number, if I'm not mistaken. If you have that type of move, usually there's a contraction in the 10-year treasury, which in turn is gonna lower rates. So we really are expecting to see a continuation of that trend. going into the first quarter. Either way, the stability should remain. So even if we have data points that are against us, that aren't really beneficial to mortgages, we're still gonna be in a great place. So when your clients or your prospects or in your social media, things are coming up about government shutdown, I don't know what you're seeing, but right behind it, there's like, oh, the housing market's gonna crash. You know, your house is gonna be worth nothing. You know, I have clients that are pre-approved right now, and they're like, I'm not gonna go buy because I'm gonna buy a $1.5 million house, and it's only gonna be worth $1 million next year. We all know that's not correct, right? That's not what's happening. You might have a contraction in value that's already happened, and we're actually seeing more of a bottom out with the level of applications and people that are coming to the market. We don't really feel like we're gonna have a continuation of the slide, so it's probably gonna go the other direction. So make sure to talk to your people and let them know that this is not the end of the end, that everything is still okay and not to stress out about it, okay? Could I have one more slide? Yeah, so here's where rates are today. Purchase rates on conventional FHA, I'm just showing you rates for minimum down. So if you're doing a purchase on a conventional transaction, you're pretty much gonna put around 5% as your minimum. 6.375 is where you are on a 30-year fixed mortgage. That's below the national average. This is Luminary's rates, okay? This isn't necessarily rates everywhere. If you have some concessions, and because of where the market is right now, it's pretty easy to get anywhere between 1% and 3% in concessions. Sorry, I shouldn't say it's easy. You guys know better than me, but we're seeing more contracts that have concessions on. In fact, I saw a contract with 3.5 points in concessions come in last week, which was like a $600,000 house. That's like over $22,000 in seller concessions. It was astronomical. If you have that type of concession level, the rate gets a lot better. And suddenly their payment is almost as affordable as renting. So we're getting close to the place where your renting affordability and your purchasing is getting closer together. FHA rates are below 6%. That's again without any type of buy down. With the buy down, you're gonna be below 5.5, right? So about 5.49 if we have 1.5% concession. So really attractive rates right now out there, specifically with Luminary. You won't find FHA at that level outside of Luminary. I can tell you right now, it's about 4% higher because we don't upcharge our government loans like most lenders do. Just to touch on your guys' merger, some of you guys are from the Brickyard location and you've never met Crystal. So Crystal is our loan officer here, so she's gonna tell us a bit why she's with Luminary and why she's new.
Oh, you can probably do that. I'm not gonna take too much of your time because I know you guys are in a hurry, but I've been in the business for 20 years, you guys. I love to help with marketing. We do a hero program, so if you've got borrowers who are heroes of the community, we actually discount our prices. We pay for their appraisal, we waive our origination fees. So anyways, reach out to me. I'm in the back office. I'd love to chat. Everything marketing, rates, that's it. Short and
I did
sweet,
deal
baby.
with Crystal, she was fabulous, so.
Thank you, Lee. I appreciate
Oh, thanks,
that.
Lee.
Not a problem.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Back to 2 mics again. All right, y'all, who missed our resident beautiful bald man, also real estate therapist, Josh Stern? I mean, okay, I'm gonna ask that again. Who missed our beautiful bald resident real estate therapist, Joshua Stern? All right, we're gonna have him come up here. I still have 2 mics. I could just put one down. We're gonna have Josh come up here and give us a little market talk.
Okay.
There you go. A
Do
freaking
we have
miracle
the
worker.
little presentation? I don't know.
Yeah.
Scan there for this week's market talk. Thank you.
You're staying up.
Okay. No, you guys, so each and every week, you know, I've done this for years and years and years. I start out my week Monday morning by looking at what's happening in the market. I do this for our local market, but I also look at what's happening in the national market. In the national market, you guys probably all know, I subscribe to Housing Wire. I'm always reading the housingwire.com/tracker report, which gives us exactly what's going on nationally. It's really important for me to have that information because I like to look at what's happening nationally through a local lens here in Utah. And so I pull these numbers for you guys, well, I pull them for myself, but you guys have the benefit of getting these numbers now each week, right? It's on the KW Utah Realtors link tree, and I hope at the very least that what you guys do is you download them into a PDF, and you hold on to them week after week after week after week. And if we can get it pulled up here, I'll actually show you what we're gonna talk about today. So, good?
But the good news is you can all have it right on your phones right now.
Well, yeah, you can scan there. And
You don't
can
even
gather.
need it up on the big screen, cause you can have it right up close and personal.
And so typically when I'm going through, and this is something that I recommend that you guys start doing too on your own, but you can actually do a market report, do a YouTube. I think Chris McGee does a really wonderful job of doing a weekly market update on YouTube. The cool thing about doing a weekly market update is I'm basically doing it for you, and you can just do it on video now. And then you can get a transcript of that video on YouTube provided for free, and you can give that transcript to something like, say, ChatGPT, and you can ask it to convert it into a Google My Business post blog, right? So you can actually take those numbers, those same numbers, and now post that into your Google My Business blog page, right? And Google loves that because it sees that you're active and you're also quoting local real estate market dynamics. And so many of you probably know we're moving away from SEO, which is search engine optimization, and we're moving now more towards what's called GEO, which is generative engine optimization. And when you're doing generative engine optimization, it's no longer waiting. Most people are going to like Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude.ai for their searches now, right? And I'm guessing that many of you guys are on that bus too, because you're not a big fan of the ads and the sponsored pages and having to dig through all the stuff like the old days of 6 months ago. when we actually still did Google everything. And so this gives you so much more ammunition for you guys to be using in creating content. So that's what I'm saying. It's not just that you can get yourself educated and get yourself prepared for what's happening, you know, every single week over week over week with the market and your dialogue that you're having with buyers and sellers, but it's also giving you an opportunity to cross-utilize some of this information. So here's what I did, you guys. Every single week, you see since April 14th, I started putting it all in one document, and I was doing that for you because Liza had asked me, hey, or I think it was Audrey, right? You put me under the bus on this. You're like, yeah, why don't you just have Josh? So that's why I'm up here right now. It's Audrey did it. But, you know, this top part of the form, if you haven't looked at it, it isn't fun to look at. It's just all the data starting April 14th. All the way over here, and the newest number is all the way over here. So I'm giving you relevant market data, but if we scroll down, because none of you guys really want to look at that, what you want to do is you want to see what are the trends that are happening and why are these trends happening right now. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, let's see, let's go down one more page. There we go. So this is a document that I had pulled from the market stats section of the Utah MLS, and this is really valuable information that you guys have here. Again, it's gonna be a little bit hard to look at up here. I'm not gonna go over every single number. I'm gonna give you an overview, and then I'm gonna tell you what I did with this information that you guys can also do to sort of step up your game in terms of being the expert. This is pulled every single month. You're gonna have a month-over-month market monthly market metrics. So if you're in the Utah MLS and you go over to the stats section, you go to Rapid Stats. Everybody's been to Rapid Stats. Okay, so you go to Rapid Stats. Inside of Rapid Stats, there's the monthly market summary, and inside of there, you'll see the monthly market metrics. Okay. Every single month, at the beginning of the month, you have the ability to pull that up and say, okay, what happened in November, let's say the next one in November of last year versus November of this year. And by the way, what's been happening with us year to date? Now you can do this, and I haven't done this for you. This is for the whole Utah real estate MLS system, but you can do this by city, you can do it by county, you can also do it by property type. And so you can get a lot more nuance in the information that you're getting But you can see up here what it's saying, it's like, hey, look, you know, new listings are up 10% over this same year to date from last year, right? You can see closed pending sales are actually down 3% from where they were in October of 2024. You can see closed sales are actually down 1.7% October versus October of last year. However, year to date, we're up 2.8%, right? So you can start looking at this and getting great data sources for you. So every month, I'll be putting, if it's the first week of the month, I'll have this monthly market metrics on this market stats for you guys. That's what I'm saying. Every week, just get in the habit of going to your KW Utah Realtors Linktree and just download that thing right there. Just open it, even if you don't read it, friggin' download it, because at some point you're gonna start to learn how to utilize this information to have better conversations and create better content for your social media posts, your YouTube, your videos, etc. So I'm gonna give you an example of what it is that I did. If we go to this market stats. So once I created all of this market stats, sans the graph, I didn't create the graph or anything. I uploaded that report, which by the way, scroll down to the bottom more to where we can see where it starts saying national, going down. National, all right? So this is your national overview. Every week I'm putting this national overview. Eventually, Liza's gonna get sued for me putting the national overview up there.
Dave?
We put that up there, so you guys have that data. But let's go back up to I think it's on starts on page 2, and towards the bottom of page 2, a little bit slower. Okay, so Josh's day. So here's what I did, and this is the cool thing about having this type of information. What I did is I took all of that and I uploaded it into my local economist agent, which is the same agent that I helped you guys create called like AI servicing and data assistant, okay? Every single week, I feed this information to that agent. Every single week, the mothership, I feed it to that, right? Because I want it to have all the smarts. I want it to be able to continue to know what's happening in the market, because eventually it just gets smarter than you. That's what I'm saying. At some point, you don't really have to read this stuff anymore. Because what I did is I just went and put it in there, and I said, hey, based upon this updated, housing report for Utah housing and the national economy, National Economic Housing Outlook, what are the 3 opportunities for buyers and sellers? What are the 3 opportunities buyers and sellers have? And so you can see the very first thing it came up with is called a swap window. And a swap window, when you have higher supply and longer days on market, because that's what it's pulling from there, we can scroll down a little bit. You can see inventory is up year over year 21%. That alone is just good information for you guys to have. Our month supply, I don't agree with the way that the Utah Real Estate MLS calculates month supply, but whatever. Our month supply is up to 4.1, and days on market is up to 65 days, and I think that is a 50-something or 40-something% increase year over year. So here's the play. Buyer, they have more choice, and they have more leverage. They target listings that have been on the market for more than 30 days and negotiate for credits like rate buy downs, closing costs, and maybe potentially repairs. Now, what if you were saying this into a YouTube video or saying this as just a quick Instagram short? Right, you're giving useful information based upon factual information. Your job is to be the local economist, right? The seller play. It's easier to buy a replacement home right now and make it contingent upon the sale of your current home, is it not? Yeah, but sellers don't know that because we're not right out there educating them. And so here it is. I put this information in there, and it's just popping that stuff up for me. By the way, after I did that, it said, hey, do you want me to make a Numbers That Matter video script for you out of this? Why? Because I feed it every single week. It's getting smarter and smarter and smarter, and it knows what I'm looking for. It knows that I'm producing this content for you guys, right? So it's asking me, hey, do you want me to do this for you? Well, you guys can do it too, right? The number 2 thing is rate tailwind plus a price cut season terms over sticker. What does this actually mean? It gives you the data up here. Weekly pendings are up, yes. Price reductions are also, this is national, close to 42%. And you have rates hovering at their lowest, point for pretty much the entire year. So what's the buyer play? Well, use seller credits to buy the rate instead of overpaying on price. A 2-to-1 buy down often costs less than a big list price chop, and it beats waiting for maybe a later on refinance. How long do people want to wait to refinance? Like, just do it now, man. Lock in now. You can do it. The seller play, hey, this is taking straight out of my playbook. If the activity is light in the first 14 days, meaning you don't have those 10 showings, the market's telling you that you're 3 to 5% above where they are. So move fast with targeted price terms adjustment rather than bleeding weeks of days on market. So how do you frame it? Well, most buyers are payment sensitive. A 10K credit that cuts the rate often nets you more than a $20,000 price cut would. Again, we're taking local economic data and we're putting it out there in a way that is actionable for potential buyers and potential sellers. So imagine now that you're doing this on your Instagram, on your Facebook, on your Snap to the chat and to the Tiki to the talk, right? You're doing all the things. This is the kind of value that you can get out of just downloading these weekly market stats and uploading them into your ChatGPT agent and asking, hey, what are the 3 opportunities for buyers and sellers? So anyway, I put that up there for you guys. I'm not gonna go through all of it, but every single week this data is being provided. Get to the point where you're learning how to use this to create content that makes a difference for your business, all right? That's what we got.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, and we are going to have Chris McKee and Mike Walters come up as well, talking about Cody Gibson. Who went to Cody Gibson? Raise your hand high. Was it amazing?
Awesome.
Yeah, y'all, I think I talked about this in bold. Everyone thinks that he's a really dashing man. I think he has great teeth, but he's just an awesome individual who has built an incredible business. And for those that don't know what AHA means, it means agents helping agents. So my first question to y'all, and I know I sent you about a list of 50, we're not gonna do all 50, but my first question to y'all is, what was your biggest aha or takeaway from Cody's message?
Got the mic, Jay. So he had a lot of things, but the one thing I wrote down that I underlined, highlighted, and really was a new way for me to look at the market is he said, the most motivated seller on the block sets the market. And I think for a long time, I've been taught and I've thought and engaged in the idea that it's the buyers that set the market. And I think there is truth still to that, but if you've got a bunch of houses and you've got a motivated seller that prices it at a space that's gonna cause it to sell sooner than the others, well, then that dictates the market.
I gave him the mic.
You took mine. That's the same thing. That's why I went first. That was at the top of my list, and I've thought that many times since the meeting, and actually I put it in a post on social media. So just to underscore how good that point was, but now I gotta come up with another one. And I think what I'd say is, he said this year, maybe 6% of the people in your database are gonna buy or sell a home. How are you talking to the other 94% of them? And that's made an impact on how I wanna show up in my marketing and in my social media and the conversations that I'm having. When somebody does ask me what the market looks like, I'll ask them how long do you want me to talk, but I'll ask them what are you looking for specifically, and if anybody's, I want to know what your city council is talking about. I want to know what schools are going up. I want to know where the road construction is happening, or be able to be the go-to person for you, just knowing what's going on and being connected. Oh,
Yes, we're sharing.
okay.
So Cody says that you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. So what system have you either implemented or tightened since that day? He
But
stole
here we
yours
go.
last time, so.
Okay, it's too easy for me to talk for too long, so let me try and sum this up as best as I can.
I'll get my hook out.
When I look at my business by the numbers, there's always a way to look at your business by the numbers where however much input you put into your business on one end, you get the output on the other. So you focus on the inputs, the more you put there, the more you'll end up with on the other end of this chart. As I've been implementing a big social media effort for the last just like few weeks moving into next year, it's a big part of what I want to do for a new lead gen arm next year is I can't just say to myself that I'm going to post, I need systems. So I actually charted out on spreadsheets what are the inputs that I'm doing and how am I looking at that input and how it shifted week to week to week so that I know how to improve on what I did last week so that at the end of that particular chart, the end of that chart being leads closed through people found on social media, I can see how I got there and I can see what I did and what I need to do moving forward on this system.
Yeah, and for me, it was simply carving out time each week and updating all of my AI agents with data, updates about the market, because when I go to do my servicing on Wednesday, now it's updated, so that's the system.
And I like that y'all touched on lead generation as well, because lead generation is the foundation of everything. So how do you protect that time daily, and what does your TCPA compliant play look like?
Well, I think to protect it, for me, it's in my calendar, and even though I've transitioned to a cubicle, this is like my secret weapon is keeping my earbuds in, because it would be super easy to get into a lot of conversations that aren't in alignment with that goal. And so when I arrive at the office at 8 o'clock and I start my expireds at 8:30 and all the way till, 10:45, 11, it's earbuds are in, even if I'm, inputting a lead into command and I'm not talking to somebody. It's just about keeping that in, because the perception and the behavior that I want to be seeing for myself and for others is that I'm actively working.
That's big for you because you're one of the people in the market center everybody wants to talk to you anyway. So you're vulnerable out there in a cubicle. I can close my door, but you get talked to a lot more. And what I'm hearing you say too is that you block the timeout. You mentioned I'm doing it from this time to this time every morning. So you gotta block that timeout. If you're not blocking the timeout, it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. It's one of the most famous things we say in real estate, or at least in Keller Williams here. So it's blocked out every day in my calendar in the morning as well. And if I need to put something else in there, thank heaven I'm a realtor and my schedule has some flexibility. I can move it to later in the day, but I'm gonna make sure I get it done.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's not perfect because, we were in bold for 6 weeks, and so my Tuesday rhythm was pretty messed up. Or you can go on vacation and come back and you can find out that you're having to strengthen that muscle again for lead generation. But to Chris's point, it literally just comes back to, is it on your calendar? Because if it's there, you're giving yourself a chance to win.
And so for the agents in the room that haven't quite yet figured out what their daily play is, or those kind of struggling to find a rhythm, where should they start this week? Chris is back.
Find Mike at his cubicle. As your earbuds are in, he may or may not be on the phone. Just tap him. If you don't know what any lead gen plays are for you to go to, or if you're looking for new ones, this office is outstanding. It gets said all the time. Barb said it earlier in this meeting. This is such a great office to walk around and just ask questions. Obviously, if you're on the phone, don't ask a question, but that's what I've done my whole career, almost 5 years of it. Nobody would call me a veteran here yet, but I love our office culture. I love that I can do that. So if you don't know what you're doing for a lead gen arm this year, just start walking around and talk to it. And I say that because there's so many options. There's so many things you could be doing for lead gen. I'm not gonna tell you that it has to be A, B, or C, but yeah. Get a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, and I think just to piggyback on what you're saying is, if you don't know what you're gonna be calling or how you're gonna generate your leads, then instead of wasting that time, scrolling or doing something else that's not in alignment, whether it's talking to people or whether it's doing your own research, spend that time thinking. We talk about think time, about, okay, so what is it and how is it you're gonna get that business?
Any questions from y'all that you want to know? Yes, y'all. I'm coming. I got my boots on too.
I just wanted to say Chris's social media has been looking really good.
Dude, it's been so shocking.
Yeah, it's been looking really good, and I just think as agents who want to help other agents, when you see someone else's post going up, I think a like can go a long way with helping us gain traction and credibility with a buyer who sees it. No one, if a buyer saw someone's post that had 1 like or something like that, they might go to someone else, but if all of us liked each other's posts and we had 20 likes and support, I think a buyer's gonna see that and be like, oh, this person's really working.
I love that. Well, a like and a comment goes a long way, and it boosts your algorithm, so it takes your algorithm a long way as well. Any other questions? And like they said, there's so many different ways, well, they didn't say this exactly, I'm from the South, so I'm going to say this, but there's so many ways to skin a cat when it comes to lead generation. I've said that in so many meetings, so if you've heard me say that before, then sorry, it's again. But there are so many different ways to succeed in this business, and looking out at this room, y'all have created such successful businesses in your own unique ways, so talk to each other. Okay, ask people. When I was at Luxury Symposium, there was a study and 76% of people don't even ask a coworker for advice anymore. They go to AI. We need to get back into that human connection as well, okay? Humanize yourself and ask your colleagues, because AI didn't build an MREA business, Josh Stern did, okay? His brain is in AI now, but you still get to have him as a coach to you, right? AI isn't doing what Flavio just did when he got his biggest commission check ever. So talk to your people. You have so many amazing people in this room. Get to know them and figure out your own personal way to skin a cat.
And the best way to talk to them is be in office.
Exactly. Yeah, and y'all, I talked to my team about he doesn't even know this, but I listened to Mike do his calls the other day, and I talked to my team about how he was able to communicate with some expires, and I was like, okay, I listened to someone else's script, so I want you to do this now too. Real estate is all about ripping off and duplicating, but everyone is out here to see you win as well. So just talk to each other. Thank you. Ready to celebrate. We have awards coming up, and I'm kind of nervous about the sound, so I'm going to ask Audrey to come over here and be on the lookout for that. But we are going to celebrate. I do it. Now let's clap. Woo! All right, back up a little bit. I do it. Congrats, y'all. $1 million month. Slide. someone that is just absolutely hitting it out of the park. And so our slugger goes to David and Maria. So congratulations, y'all. And then our Agent of the Month, we also implemented this a couple months ago. If you have been selected as the Agent of the Month, we're gifting you ad spend to go on command and put out Facebook ads. So if you need help with that, talk to Jess. And then y'all, again, I said this for my gratitude earlier, but truly happy Veterans Day. And I know that we're waiting for lunch, but I do feel called to just share my little journal entry that I wrote this morning. So bear with me here. And I also, for those that don't know, I like to write. So if you ever want to write sometime, hit me up. But this morning, I keep thinking about the quiet strength that it takes to serve. The way boots meet the ground, step after step, without asking for applause. The way some carry stories they'll never tell and still find peace in the small things. A sunrise, a flag in the wind, the sound of kids laughing in a free country. Every generation has faced its own kind of storm. Some fought on beaches, in air, some in jungles, some in deserts. Some stood watch in places most of us will never see. And some fight their battles long after they come home. It's the kind of courage that doesn't always wear medals. It's the kind that keeps going anyway, through loneliness, through loss, through long stretches of silence. I think about all of them today. Those who gave their years, their hearts, and sometimes their lives, so the rest of us could keep chasing dreams. The world keeps moving and freedom often feels quiet, but it's built on their steady hands and their unspoken sacrifices. It's not about politics or parades. It's about gratitude for the kind of courage that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. So to every veteran, thank you for caring more than most will ever understand. And we remember you today and every ordinary day that feels safe because of you. All right, wants and needs. Who has a want, who has a need?
We have a super cute townhouse condo, townhouse style condo in West Valley for sale. It's 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 car garage, built newer, brick and stucco, very darling, $320,000. And seller has some wiggle room in that price for a buy down or closing costs. So if you've got a buyer looking and you can't feel the price points, it's a super cute place.
I'm Anthony from the Salt Lake City office, for those that don't know me, and I know we're all hungry, so I'll keep it short. But there's people that are hungrier than us out there. And we only have a week until the snow hits, and there's gonna be some really cold people sleeping on concrete. So if anyone has a full cup and would like to buy a sleeping bag for the homeless, we're doing an awesome drive. Thank you so much, Chris, for doing a shout out and contributing. And please only donate if your cup is full. New agents don't feel any pressure. We only want, you can only do what you can do. So if that's something you'd be open to, I'd love to speak with you.
And y'all, I mean, that's why Anthony was in the gratitude this morning. I mean, his heart is just so big.
So I'd love to pick anybody's brain who is willing to look into this. So I used to watch closely on, when I had a listing with marketing it, the number of views that was being, that was receiving on the MLS. They've removed that stat now, and you can still see how many views are being done if you go to like list track and stuff like that. But that statistic of number of views that have been received on the MLS is no longer there. I used to use that in regards to see how much showings were occurring. I used to know that I could get, offers about every 10, 20,000 views, and I was only sold no later than 40,000 views. Like I would look at that metric somehow. And I wouldn't count on it for everything, but it was a great kind of temperature gauge. I'm wondering if anybody else has been using the now new stats of the number of views being reviewed given to see how that's tracked. Hello.
And for those that didn't see that slide, we'll move, Marita said I'll talk to you. So if you are also interested in that conversation, get with Marita and Ilario.
And I got a new duplex listing, nice side-by-side, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage in Midvale. 729, gotten 3 real interesting buyers right up front, but it's a good, nice, well-maintained property.
Awesome. And y'all, we have Stair Talk coming up. And I had the pleasure of meeting with them a couple weeks ago, and I think this is about to blow your mind because I am just waiting for them to come into the Nashville market and Tennessee market because this is some high level stuff. They're using AI. They are some geniuses and also an all-female team, so we'll for that. But y'all, welcome Stair Talk because this is about to change your business.
We know you guys are super hungry. I can feel it in the room. We're gonna just demonstrate and we will keep it to under 4 minutes, okay? Promise.
And we were gonna do it in 5 and we'll do it in 3 because we brought lunch and we want you to eat it too.
For those of you guys who don't know, I'm Spencer Rathall's wife. So I'm as close to an agent as you can get, I feel like, because my daily 24/7 is real estate.
Awesome. So yeah, we've got also a table set up right back there. So if you want to grab some lunch and talk to us afterward or have a flyer, it's right there next to Chantal. So
Can you hear us in the back?
okay, perfect. Thank you, Liza, for the wonderful introduction. Of course. All right. So we have 3 kind of primary client touch points that we focus on. So the first is engaging with your client list, marketing, and having a reason to reach out to them. The second is a seller playbook, and that is for listing presentations and helping sellers understand the data in their market. And then the third is the buyer brief for active listings. It's on demand, always ready to go for every active listing. And I will jump into each of them quickly, very quickly. So, yeah.
Okay. And just for those of you guys that don't know, we are a platform that uses MLS data. We are one of the only ones that actually use current MLS data, which definitely does help in the Utah market. A lot of those home bots, these kind of things, they're just guessing, right? So one of the things is that we are only for agents. You have to be an agent to use this. We built this software to make you the smartest agent in the room.
And like Liza mentioned, we are based here in Utah. We're 3 founders, 3 women founders, which you don't see super often in tech, but we always wanted to build something in real estate. And so we're super excited to finally be able to do that and to be able to offer it to every agent in Utah. So the Seller Playbook is really a new standard for listing presentations. Instead of showing up with a list of comps and some general market info, those things are great, but this is a full AI-powered strategy for your listing.
Within minutes.
Yes, and it's all in a super easy to consume and understand format that you can share with your sellers and bring to a listing meeting. So you just enter an address, that's it. We will automatically go and pull the property info for you. On the next slide, you can set a boundary. We default to a 1-mile boundary, but you can use our super easy editor and draw any boundary you want or multiple. And then the AI gets to work. It starts reviewing comps, it starts removing outliers, comparing recent sales, reviewing the characteristics of the home, and starting to take all of those kind of data points and feed our model, which gets you to the part that's the part that sellers care about, which is the pricing strategy.
It also takes into account over 10 years of historical data.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about COVID, it's already taken this into account. When you're talking about dips during politics, it's already taken this into account. So this is, like Lee was saying, it piggybacks right on what Lee's saying. We built this to be smarter than the average agent. Anytime Spencer uses it, he's within $5,000 to $10,000. We have also a model that's built that it is plus or minus 6 days accuracy when we say that when you'll sell the house.
So on the next one, thanks so much. All right, so you get this awesome pricing strategy where it adjusts for seasonality, adjusts for the list price, so you can experiment with different dates and see how that changes the prediction. And you can see in this example, we'll go to the next one, I believe. We'll walk through an example of how you can explain this, and this will, the product will guide you so that you always know what to say to a client to help explain this. So in this example, 1.2 million is the sweet spot here. Predicted to go under contract 6 days faster than the area average. Into the next one. So pricing it lower, you can see from the graph, and this will explain it. Pricing it lower might get a faster offer, but not enough to offset the lost value. So $200,000 could be left on the table for only a marginal, like less than 10-day improvement in the time on market.
So this is a sliding scale and you can play with it. Have you guys ever showed up to a house and you had your comps and you were ready and they're questioning exactly, really hard questioning what you came with? This is also great just to have this back up and say, look at the AI data, look at this research.
And then by contrast, pricing it over 1.3 million has a sharp increase in the time on market, also will limit demand and likely result in a price cut. So the model has learned from all of these patterns and is super localized so that it can predict based on what it's seen what will happen for each individual property. And then to the next one. So here you can get them on the same page. 1.2 million is balancing both speed and value. It's going to attract the most early interest and maximize the sale price.
Okay, so that's for your buyers. Now, we're gonna go in quickly to active listings. You have a buyer and they wanna look it up, so go ahead.
So this is meant to be used on the go. Type in an address, all of your comps are AI matched and ranked already there for you. Pricing context is there. The analysis of how long it's predicted to be on market, everything is done for you. All you do is type in an address and you can share a link with any client.
Text them, right to their phone.
And then the next one, we are running through this quick. Okay,
So
this part is really cool. So this is where the AI comes into play again to really help you out and do the work for you. So we generate reports for you automatically based on all of your past buyer listings. So you don't even have to no data entry, no setup. We will just pull based on the MLS. We'll go pull those for you and automatically generate reports so that you can share them with your clients. It's really no work on your end. We had one agent who sent 80 of these to people in her client list to test it out, and within 2 months she had 19 new listings from those clients. It's really, really powerful.
we haven't even got into all the small details too, because of course we're trying to do this in 4 minutes. But it also, when you have a buyer, it's also taking into account what the difference will be in the repairs. If you repair it, how much that it could be up in value when you sell. There's all these really intricate details that this can help you with. We also have Chantal in the back, and she is in the great, Chantal, do you want to? She's in the back with the short bob. She's got a sign. And you guys can go back there. Plug one of your listings in. Plug one of your purchases in. Watch it perform as you're eating lunch on us.
Actually, very last slide is next. So pricing. So we built this to really back you up and help prove your credibility. We know you always have the instinct there. This is just the data to back you up and to kind of build your client's trust in the fact that you've always got your data with you. So it's just $29 a month. It's a super simple subscription. You can cancel anytime. We've got a free trial for you as well as a coupon code, so you can get 25% off your first 3 months. It expires next week, so you've got a bit of time. And we've got a QR code back there. I think we've got a QR code on the next slide. We also have some flyers, so we would love for you to all try it out. We are a Utah-based team, and we are really thrilled to be able to offer this to all agents in Utah.
You guys are already paying for the MLS. This just takes everything in there and gives it to your fingertips and lets you text it to your clients or email it within seconds. And it takes all of that information and does exactly what Lee was talking about. Does anyone have any questions? Any of you guys want to go eat? So maybe just come and ask us questions at the table. That way everyone can get to lunch. Thanks, Liza.
Y'all, if you're not seeing platforms out there that are like $1,000 a month. So to get that, for 3 months free, being at KW Fort Union, and at that low of a cost, scan the QR code and help your business. One last thing, I am so excited to be your team leader, and I know that we talked last week about the cadence of the team meetings. For the rest of the year, we are going to alternate each week because we have already assigned all of our sponsors for the remainder of the year. However, starting the first month in January, we are going to try the cadence of 1 month on, 1 month off. And again, y'all, it's a trial and error. There could be error, just let us know, and we are here to help you move forward and onward. Another thing, there are goodie bags back there because we have our shirts in and our ball caps. So if you ordered a shirt, they are back there, and we also have KW Utah hats, and I know that I already see some models out in the crowd wearing their great shirts. So go put it on, take some pictures, and tag us. And y'all have a great day. Zach, you look amazing with your hat, or shirt as a hat, I guess, yeah. Huh. But y'all, love you all so much, and go eat.
I'm ready.